Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 22nd of February. Encounter between terrorists and security forces ends in J&K. All militants killed. Pakistan IB chief warns Islamic State as an emerging threat in the country. And Bangladesh police detains 3 men over killing of Hindu priest. And now for all the details. The gun battle between security forces and militants in India's northern Kashmir ended on Monday after 3 days of heavy exchange. 3 militants were neutralized on Monday, while 1 was killed on Sunday. Security personnel are now conducting combing operations to sanitize the area.
Heavy gunfire and explosions were heard before Indian security forces gunned down all militants who were holed up in a government building in Pampore on the outskirts of capital Srinagar. 6 Indian soldiers and 1 civilian were also killed in the showdown.
The CRPF made an attempt to get inside the building from the ground floor. However, the moment they attempted that, terrorists threw a grenade and then they fired, and this party, which was led by their officers, had to withdraw. Thereafter, we worked out the complete plan, how to localize these terrorists and thereafter neutralize them.
It is said to be one of the longest encounters in Kashmir in recent past. On Saturday, the terrorists had ambushed a Central Reserve Police Force or CRPF convoy and forced their way to a government institute building. More than 100 trapped civilians were evacuated from the building. This is the first major terror attack near Srinagar in the last 6 years. Although no group has claimed responsibility for the attack, it is being said that Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Toiba could be behind the strike.
Meanwhile, Indian Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar has said that a mere registration of FIR by Pakistan against the perpetrators of the attack on an Indian air base in the country's northern Pathankot is not sufficient. Pakistan needs to do serious investigations to India's satisfaction, he added. His statement comes few days after the Counter-Terrorism Department in Punjab province of Pakistan lodged an FIR against Pathankot attackers and facilitators. But the FIR did not name Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, who India claims was the mastermind of the attack. 7 Indian soldiers were killed when militants believed to have come from Pakistan attacked the airbase last month. The brazen assault has cast a shadow over the resumption of dialogue process between the 2 neighbors, as the Foreign Secretary level talks, which were scheduled for January 15, was mutually postponed. Pakistan government is neither afraid nor annoyed by the National Accountability Bureau, the country's interior minister claimed while commenting on Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's recent slamming of the top anti-graft watchdog. His remark comes days after the Prime Minister hit out at the watchdog for carrying out raids recently on government offices.
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has only advised NAB not to threaten businessmen and investors after he received complaints from the community, Pakistan's Interior Minister Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan said. Nisar assured that no restrictions will be imposed on the institution, which was working to ensure transparency. Last week, the Prime Minister had said that his government would take legal action against the agency to clip its power if it does not act responsibly while probing innocent people, referring to the business community and government officials. His statements had garnered criticism from the opposition, which said that Sharif was interfering in the work of the independent institution. Nisar also claimed that the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party was a victim of NAB for 13 years, as the previous governments had allegedly used the agency against the party.
Security has been upped for Pakistan President Mamnoon Hussain and his family, as he is expected to decide on the clemency plea of Malik Mumtaz Qadri, killer of Punjab former Governor Salman Taseer. The president's family has reportedly been moved from Karachi to the heavily guarded presidency in Islamabad in view of a possible backlash over the case. Qadri, one of Taseer's bodyguards, shot him dead in Islamabad in 2011 for his support to a blasphemy accused. He was sentenced to death by an anti-terrorism court. The ruling was also upheld by the Islamabad High Court and the Supreme Court, leaving him with the last option of filing a clemency appeal to the president. Religious parties in Pakistan strongly back the self-confessed assassin and have threatened nationwide protests if Qadri is hanged. Pakistan is facing a growing threat from Islamic State, also known as Daesh. The country's intelligence bureau chief Aftab Sultan has warned the Middle East outfit has been allegedly gaining ground in Pakistan after looking for a foothold in Afghanistan.
In a rare admission, Pakistan's Intelligence Bureau Director General Aftab Sultan said Islamic State is an emerging threat to Pakistan and it will take at least a decade for the wave of terrorism to subside in the country. He added that a network of the Middle East jihadi group has been busted in Pakistan and hundreds of Pakistanis have also left for Syria to join the terror outfit. We recently unearthed a network of Daesh and there are reports of fighters being recruited by sectarian and other outfits and being sent to Syria, he informed Senate Standing Committee on Interior and Narcotics Control. Sultan also stated that the Islamic State was coordinating with Pakistan Tehreek-e-Taliban or the TTP militant outfit and other local groups like Lashkar-e-Jhangvi and Sepah-e-Sahaba were sympathizing with it. The confession came after a series of denial by Pakistan government about the presence of Islamic State in the country.
Bangladesh police on Monday claimed detention of 3 people in connection with the killing of a top Hindu priest a day before. This comes as many religious leaders and institutions of the minorities, liberal and secular writers, have come under attack in recent times. Hundreds from all walks of life formed a human chain to protest against the killing.
2 of the men belong to banned militant outfit Jamaat-ul Mujahideen Bangladesh or the JMB and the other was a Jamaat-e-Islami terrorist, sources said. 45-year-old Jogeshwar Roy, the head priest of Sri Sri Sant Gauryo Mutt in Panchagarh district, was attacked by armed assailants on Sunday morning at the temple. One of his aides was also shot at and 2 of the devotees wounded. Police had suspected JMB militants behind this as a part of their series of attacks on religious leaders and establishments of minorities in Bangladesh over the last few months. On the other hand, the Islamic State is also said to have claimed responsibility for the attack on the priest. But Bangladesh authorities have denied presence of the Middle East terror outfit in the country. Although Bangladesh insists the jihadist group is not active in the country, the Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack on Shia mosque in Bogra in November and another Shia shrine in Dhaka in October last year.
Nepal Prime Minister, who is in India on a 6-day official visit, met Indian Power Minister to seek the country's assistance to overcome the power crisis in the Himalayan nation. Nepal is currently suffering from an acute electricity shortage as people face 13 hours of power outage daily.
Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Monday held meeting with the Indian Power Minister Piyush Goyal and discussed power crisis that the Himalayan country is currently facing. Oli sought for New Delhi's assistance in supplying energy to the country, especially when Nepal declared energy emergency. For the 3rd time in the last 8 months, Nepal government on Friday declared energy emergency in the country to tide over the acute electricity shortage, reports stated. The government has also unveiled plan to overcome the energy crisis within 2 years, which include importing 50% of its requirements from India. Earlier, Oli also met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as both nations signed 9 agreements in different sectors, including India's assistance package for post-earthquake reconstruction.
Thousands of devotees congregated at the Sangam, the confluence of rivers Ganges, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati in India's northern city of Allahabad on Monday, on the auspicious occasion of Magh Purnima or the full moon day. It is widely believed that taking a holy dip at the Sangam on the auspicious occasion washes away sins and leads to moksha or merging with the Supreme Soul.
Braving the freezing temperature, devotees take holy dip at the Sangam and offered prayers at the break of the dawn to mark the end of a month-long Kalpvas or period of austerity. The devotees observe a month-long austerity drive during which they camp on the banks of Sangam. Magh Purnima marks the end of the month-long Kalpvas.
उन कल्पवासियों का व्रत आज के दिन स्नान दान के बाद पूर्ण होता है। ऐसी मान्यता है कि ये पांचवां पर्व में जो कल्पवासी स्नान करते हैं, दान करते हैं और गंगा जी का आशीर्वाद लेके, गंगा जी की रेणुका लेके अपने घर पहुंचते हैं। गंगा जी उनके घर में सुख समृद्धि का आशीर्वाद देती है।
Magh Purnima is the last and most important day of the month of Magh, and a dip in the Ganges on this day holds high religious merit. The full moon day is greatly revered by Hindu devotees, especially the worshippers of Lord Vishnu.
आज हम लोग माघी पूर्णिमा का स्नान करके कल्पवास समाप्त हो गया हम लोगों का। अब हम लोग स्नान करके अपने अपने घरों को वापस हो जाएंगे।
Elaborate security arrangements were made at the venue to ensure smooth functioning and safety of the devotees.
Hundreds of onlookers gathered in Sri Lankan capital Colombo when its streets came to life during an annual Buddhist pageant. Buddhism is the major religion in Sri Lanka, with about 70% of the country's population as followers. Hundreds of revelers danced to the beat of drums while escorting brightly decorated elephants through the streets of Colombo on the occasion.
Traditional dancers wearing colourful attires, drummers and devotees took part in the pageant that parades through the streets of Sri Lankan capital Colombo. The dancers escorted dozens of brightly decorated elephants. The pageant starts from the Ganga Ramaya Buddhist temple, one of the prominent religious places in the capital. The highlight is a cascade carried by an elephant which Buddhists believe contains a relic of the Buddha. The 2 miles parade takes place over 3 nights and attracts thousands of tourists and residents alike. The parade is being taken out annually for nearly 4 decades.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Encounter between terrorists and security forces ends in J&K. All militants killed. Pakistan IB chief warns Islamic State as an emerging threat in the country. And Bangladesh police detains 3 men over killing of Hindu priest. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.